time to go fast.
Time to go fast. 12-second pass.
Here, check this out.
Oh.
That's horsepower right there. Okay, so before we get into the live action of actually installing the kit, right now the kit is all finished, and I just want to give you a brief overview of how it all works before you see installing it, because I know sometimes it can get pretty confusing. So, right here is going to be your nitrous plate. You're going to have one solenoid here. That will be your fuel solenoid. You're going to have one solenoid there. That's going to be your nitrous solenoid. Those solenoids, one shoots fuel into this plate, one shoots nitrous, which will be distributed by a bar inside the plate. Now the wiring on these solenoids is going to be very simple, as you see in the video. There'll be 2 red wires coming from the fuel, 2 blue wires coming from the nitrous. 1 red wire and 1 blue, as you see here, will go to your ground. And 1 red wire and 1 blue will be going to the nitrous. And also, inside here, inside there, right where it goes into the plate, there will be a jet that will determine how much fuel goes in one side and how much nitrous goes in the other. So this red wire and this blue, one from each solenoid, is running over here, and it's grounded behind our battery. And now the other set of red and blue wires is running up to our switch here. This activates the nitrous. This button here, if you see, when we flip it on, well, I gotta turn the key on. When you flip it on, that arms our nitrous system. And that allows it so that if you're driving along and accidentally press this button, you're not spraying nitrous into your car. Now, I know this all sounds kind of confusing, but the video will definitely demonstrate a lot more of how all this works and show you all the steps to install this. But I just want to give you kind of a brief overview so you know what we're talking about in the video. So let's quit wasting time and let's get to the live action. Okay, so if you guys don't know anything about this truck, this is our 1969 pickup that we drag race. And we have a big race against a modern BMW, and it's got to go a little faster, huh? Yep. It's way too slow. So we ran, what do we run in this thing? Like a 1395, and we've got to run, what do we have to run? We got to run a 12 flat or 12 flat to beat this new BMW. So we've only thought of one new way of how to do that, and this is going to be our solution right here. So we're going to show you guys how to install the kit today. It's really pretty simple. There's a couple safety measures you got to do for installing this, but well, we won't do that, but in general you probably should. But so anyways, we're going to install this nitrous, and this is the carbureted kit, and we'll show you the basics of what to do. Okay, so this is the basic kit. You have your brackets to hold the bottle. Instructions, we don't really need those. These are going to mount to your bottle. You have your 2 solenoids. You're going to have your nitrous one, the blue one, and the fuel solenoid. And they give you a couple miscellaneous lines. This will go on top of your intake manifold. And then the one thing that they don't really send with this kit is the stuff to plumb the fuel line. So I had to buy a couple of fittings like this for mine. It'll be different for everyone. And then you have your button to arm the nitrous system. And you have your go button to spray the nitrous. That's the most important one. So we've already ignored the directions. So we're going to get right into step 1, and we're going to mount the bottle. All right, so they're going to give us 2 basic ways to mount the nitrous, either laying sideways or straight up and down. We're going to go straight up and down. And I think we're going to just kind of mount it right there like that in the bed. We're going to run. We want it to be like, well, I think like that is pretty good. The hose will run right down through there under the cab. I like that. So down here. Oh. So our brackets are just gonna go. We'll go. All right, so this is what we got whipped up so far. We reinforced this, probably not going anywhere. We've got 1 bracket here, so we're going to enlarge that hole. And then we've got our second bracket there, which will put the bottle on a bit of an angle and be perfect. So we're going to go ahead and drill those holes and mount that. The instructions say that, you got to flip the wrong way there, buddy. That they want the front of the bottle higher. So we have our tall one in front, and then the bottle's going to face backwards, which is going to be just perfect. Look like right there is pretty good. Whoa. Whoa.
Why so crooked?
I don't know.
Go straight.
Change of plans.
Modification number 1, we're ditching these goofy nuts and just gonna put regular ones so that
These butterflies no good.
we can actually
Hits
tighten.
the side.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, step 1 complete. Bottle is mounted. One thing we changed, you guys saw, was we changed those dumb butterfly screws for just a regular nut. Or nut, I guess. Change the butterfly nuts for a regular one. So our bottle's mounted. What's next? Let's move to the engine bay.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
Why are you feeling?
So our next step, we're taking off the carburetor, and we gotta rig up this plate, and then both of these solenoids have to go in, and we'll show you how to do all that. So first we're gonna take off the carburetor and that stuff. So we're gonna add this into our fuel line because our fuel solenoid there, the red one, requires a separate fuel line for the carburetor systems. So we're just gonna run, this is just a pretty basic T, which will do just fine. And then we'll run a rubber line up to the fuel solenoid. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we got our extra fuel fitting here. This one will be the regular fuel line to go to the carburetor. This one will be to plumb to the nitrous system. But in the meantime, we've got to take the carburetor off so we can put the kit on, right? Right. Right?
Right.
Right, okay. Close up. All right, pop the carburetor off, spill a minimal amount of fuel. Take that over here. Put that down.
And
Spill fuel. Okay, next. Oh, well, next we gotta do the studs. So a lot of them will, with this nitrous spacer plate, you're gonna need longer studs. So we're gonna go ahead and do that next. And change all of these out for longer ones. Good, okay, so step number 80, 90, what step are we on?
lost track.
So step number 2 will be after you get your plate on, you're going to want to screw these little guys on. And you want to make sure that this plate is labeled fuel and nitrous. So obviously, whichever solenoid, you got to make sure your solenoids match the plate. That is very important. And so that is going to be our nitrous line. That is going to be our fuel line. If I can ever get these on. Okay, and then the kit says that these lines here will be enough to support the solenoids, so I guess we're going to find out. That's just what the kit claims.
What about the studs?
And we're going to get rid of these studs and put bolts because we need this spacer here, so we're going to be a little short, but it'll be just fine. Okay,
Alright.
good. That's it. So obviously you got to make sure that this all fits. We had the pipe like this and our solenoid is not going to fit. So we're going to flip that around and hopefully it works. So before you put this plate together with the tubes, you got to make sure you get your jets in here. And in the directions, which you have to print out separately online, which sucks, they give you a chart. So we want to run a 150 shot. So that'll be a 67 nitrous jet. So you can see the little number on it right there. That's a 52. 78. So we want a 67 nitrous, 48 fuel. 57. We want a 67. 41. 67. So this fitting is going to go in the fuel side. Because you got 67. No, I'm sorry. 67 nitrous, 48 fuel. So 67 in the nitrous side. No, so that's going to plop in just like that. And then that's going to screw in on top. Now, we want a 48 on the fuel side. So that's a 36. 48, there we go. So 48 on the fuel size there. Now you got to make sure you have, nope, that's backwards.
Are you sure?
Yeah, like that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And you got to make sure you have those in before, well, not before you put the plate on, but before you tighten those things up. Okay, so we've double checked our jetting. You got to make sure you have the right jets in the right side, or else you're going to blow your engine sky high. And now we're going to snug those up and move on to our next step. Good?
Good.
Good.
Hopefully.
Yeah, really. All right, so next is the, what is this? This is something, I don't remember what it's called. This attaches our solenoid, so we're going to put that on there, stick our solenoid on as far as possible, which is not very far, and then we're gonna snug this puppy up. Now they say these tubes will hold the solenoids up. I don't really love that, but I guess they will. If they say it, it must be true. So that's snug there, so that's pretty good. Let's see, maybe just a little, just crank that baby on there. All right, so that's on there. So our fuel solenoid's on. Next will be nitrous. You wanna grab that for me, pal? Oh. And the little thing.
Oh, hello.
Oh, and then this, before you do that, you have to put this in here. Make sure to use some kind of sealer on there, not pipe tape, because they specifically say do not use pipe tape. Dude, you're always zoomed in. Back up.
Favorite pastime over here.
What? Zooming in? And just a little sealer on that.
Oh.
Then this fitting. And then we got our solenoid. Make sure we got that pushed all the way back. Maybe turn that tube just a smidgen. We gotta make sure that's all the way on there. Then we just snug this fitting up. And then tighten it. And if you want to get fancy and aren't poor like me, you can buy the brackets that hold up these solenoids. I think they mount to the carburetor, I'm not sure, but those really make life a little easier. All right, that's on there, good. Boom, both our solenoids mounted onto whatever the next step is. We'll figure that out. Okay, so the next part's really simple. We're not gonna show you all of it. All you're doing is running your nitrous line. It screws right onto the end of that fitting there. You're just running that underneath your vehicle, through your trunk, whatever you're gonna do. And then that will run up to the nitrous solenoid and screw into the fitting there. So we're gonna go ahead and do all that. Okay, so we've got our solenoids hooked up, we've got our line run. Next we're going to throw on the carburetor and we're gonna run our secondary fuel line for the nitrous kit.
Let's go.
Okay, so the carburetor's on, and the secondary fuel system is actually really simple. We're just running a piece of rubber line from here around here. And we just, because we're not running a ton of nitrous, we're running a 150 shot, it's just plumbed into our regular fuel system. It'll be just fine. Okay, so we've got our Y hooked in, and all we're gonna do is fuel go in here, and this is our additional line to go right to the nitrous solenoid with rubber hose. And if you're running a giant shot, like a 500 shot or 350, you probably want to plumb an additional line from the tank, but we're just running a little 150 shot. So we can just plumb it into our system. We've got a big mechanical fuel pump. We're just running a rubber line from here to right here. Okay, so we ran
Good.
we ran our extra fuel line to supply the nitrous kit, so that'll be good. And then next is just wiring it all up, which is going to suck, but eventually we'll get it done.
Yep. All right, back to work.
Okay, so we've got both our solenoids hooked up, carburetor's back on, all our clearances look good. We probably should have checked our lines to make sure they were tight, but you know, who cares? Let's be honest.
E-ball.
Yeah, and then so next is the wiring. I have no idea how to do that, so we might have to look at the directions.
Nerd.
Nerd. Okay, we don't need this. Wait, we're like losing direction. So here's our directions. So, as you can see, I don't know. I have no focus. So, our grounds need to be wired together, and our positives need to be wired together. We need our button And we need our switch.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so it's time to do the wiring. You guys saw the harness. So what we gotta do is, there's 2 sets of red wires, 2 sets of blue off each one. We gotta run 1 red and 1 blue to ground, and then 1 red and 1 blue to this, to first, 1 red and 1 blue to this switch, which that switch is gonna be our nitrous button here. And then the other thing, and then the other one will, and then the other side of this switch will run to our power switch. Where is our power switch? Oh, here it is. And then you'll flip this on, and that will arm the nitrous system. So we're going to work on routing these wires a little bit here.
How much are you gonna make?
Horsepower? Probably enough to blow it up. But other than that, I don't know. So we're just splicing the 2 solenoids together so that one can run to the ground and that one can run to our nitrous button to activate this. And it doesn't matter, both solenoids have 2 of the same color wires, so it doesn't matter which one you pick, as long as you got 1 of each running to ground, 1 of each running to your button. Dang, that's hard to get off.
Oh my.
Christ.
Use a smaller cut. Dude, you're on video.
Oh, I kind of butchered that.
Oh.
So we're rigging in our arm switch. So we've got our hot lead, and then 1 of these will go to the nitrous button, 1 will go to ground. And we're just gonna put it here in the cigarette lighter hole, and you'll press down on it to arm the nitrous system. So that'll be pretty good.
Okay, all hooked up?
Yeah.
Oh, son.
We're on our way.
There we go. Nice switch feel.
Pretty good. Now we need a ground wire. What are you doing?
There we go.
Action. Okay, so we basically got everything wired up. We'll show you it all in a minute here. Go ahead and crack the bottle, see if it leaks. Got it open? Yeah. I don't hear anything. I'm gonna go hit the nitrous button. You see if we hear it squirt any. Go ahead. Oh, oh, buddy. We're gonna blow this fucking thing to kingdom come. Go ahead.
Definitely a little bit cracked too.
Oh shit. Holy.
Only comes out of the front.
Well, the front's open more than the rear ones. So, as you all can see now, our nitrous kit is fully installed. I was going to show you guys about the timing and stuff in this video, but I think that we've kind of covered a lot in this video. So in the next one, if you guys are interested about learning more, we'll be going over how to make this setup safe, what we need to do to retard timing, stuff like that, and we'll be doing a driving test in the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something, and we'll see you on the next one.